I have spent way too long putting all the text of Pokemon Heartgold through Google Translate and back to create an entirely incomprehensible gaming experience. A once wholesome adventure shared between a young trainer and their Pokemon has now become something else. Please enjoy the chaos that is Pokemon Gilded Liver. We begin our journey by talking to Professor Dub, who lets us know that there are things in the world called Pokemon. Duh. He asks what gender means, and we go with the option on the left, but this confuses Professor Dub. He asks, "Are you not a bitch?" Which is, of course, impossible. He asks us why is our name like that before immediately stealing it for himself and then sends us off into the world. Exploring our room, we discover an unfortunate TV that only displays Hepatitis and Jonton's Wii. Wii is also good. Going downstairs, our mom has some business to discuss with our smoking habits and sends us off to talk to Professor Elm, who says he loves us. She makes sure we're outfitted for our journey, giving us our man cave, teacher card, arrested, and hat have to, which is a shortened version of what does that have to do with me. The TV downstairs has a much better selection, showing a movie with two boys in love, and we grab some Volcano Cinnamon Burgeonesses before heading out into the skin of a new city. Our old pal Ethan runs by, so we pay him a visit at home, but his dad insults us, so I leave. Inside the Pokemon lab, maybe Professor Elm gives us a choice between With Chicory, the Dillweed, and Cyndaquil, which we choose. After receiving the Cyndaquil from Professor Elmo, he sends us off to Mr. Pokemon's house. But first, we return home to disappoint Mom with our life choices, and she renounces all ties with Professor Elam. On our way out, we're stopped one last time by Professor Elmore's smile Emma, so he can call us if nothing happens. We make it to Cherry Grove City and get taken on the following tour by the Noble Chief. Are you a beginner? Looking good! Something for all ages. I'll show you something if you want. Sorry, I forgot you don't wear shoes, idiot. This is the black market. Reginald is ugly. As you can see, this is an ocean. Drown yourself. When I was a young man, I was a good slut. Here's the thing. Catch a lot of Pokemon, but only catch 6 Pokemon. Show no mercy. Die. The Noble Chief is a strong and vigorous old man. F*** you. I forgot something. Delete yourself. Continuing on, we get stopped by an apricot nepotism baby and talk to some local trainers before arriving at Mr. Pokemon's house. He warns us that Professor Science wants us to think, then gives us his coconut eggs, and gives our Pokemon a divorce. Edgy Professor Oak is also here, and gives us a Pokedex before sending us back to see Professor Kagarach. Speaking of, he calls us to tell us that we're bad and we should come back. On the way, we run into a suspicious boy who challenges us to a fight. Telephone Boy sends out Dillweed while we apply Cyndaquil to the wound. It's a hard-fought battle, but after passing the L back and forth and using Department a couple times, Telephone Boy interrupts to let us know that Dillweed is good for oily skin, and we win the battle. Telephone Boy lets us know that he will be the Pokemon trainer, and we continue back to the lab. Upon our return, we are immediately interrogated, and Patty faces a difficult decision. But luckily, Ethan steps in on our behalf and confuses the officer, giving us a chance to describe Telephone Boy, and he leaves to find a girl with this hair. We give the magic egg to Professor Elma so he can learn about birds, and he sends us off to reform the physical education system in Johto. Before heading back out, we return home to Mom once again, and she has a mental breakdown before making sure we have money. Heading out for real this time, we return to Policy 29, and Ethan teaches us how to arrest Pokemon. Simply apply Jane Lynch to the wound, and use 1 Pokeball for singing, and there's a gotcha. He was arrested. We saw Pokeballs and put Ethan's advice to the test, arresting an At Night and a Simultane. With our new team, we defeat the local lads and make our way to Purple City. While in town, we decide to go on a factory visit and catch an I Spent It inside. We battle against the Hakims and they're the Bats, and they do their best to stop us, but their grape activities are not very efficient, and once Cyndaquil learns Bottom Boy, they don't stand a chance. We Bottom Boy our way to the top of the tower, just missing Telephone Boy, and fight Encourager Lee. He's stronger than the rest of the trainers in the tower, but he's still no match for the raw power of Cyndaquil's Bottom Boy. After the battle, Encourager Lee compliments our battle prowess and teaches us a secret technique for taking on Faulkner. We use an escaping bondage to end the factory visit and do our best to follow this advice, catching the bat of our own and a Chanel, then use some dubiously acquired unusual sweets to train our Pokemon bisexual before taking on the Purple City Fitness Center. After making our way through the trainers, Eagle greets us and promises to show us the power of Pokémon Big Bird. We apply Chanel to the wound, and he takes down Eagle's structural with a single translation. Pizziotto comes in, and Chanel hits it with another translation before using Ogorod, giving Pizziotto a stroke and preventing him from attending the gathering. Pizziotto tries to recover lost ground with like Rostov, but can't keep up with Chanel's translations, and before long, the demon's Pizziotto, he is dead. Eagle begs us for mercy before giving us the sapphire symbol, then Eagle 20, definitely in second place, gives us our next task, assailing City Council. But before we can go do that, Professor Oak calls us to ask for help with dinner, tasking us with finding potatoes as well as finding and saving the chicken. Unfortunately, the local Pokemart is out of stock for both of these items, but we do get eggs easily. On our way to City Council, we stop to take some time to burn the poor before passing through Union Washa, and after fighting some trainers, our Cyndaquil evolves into a kilogram. In Azalea Town, Tech Rocket appears to have taken over Little by Little, aka Pispel Well. Kurt, the local cookie baker, has an issue with this, and the old wolf leaves to teach them a painful lesson, but screams and falls into a hole. We fight our way through the gun control grunts and reach Proton, Team Rocket's coolest and best player. After bottom boying our way through battle again, Wolf belatedly wishes us good luck and takes us to the Mouse in the Sky, offering to trade his ears for Pock Pock. With Tech Conglomerate Rocket out of the way, we're free to use the Azalea City Fitness Center, although there is a big nest of Pokemon bugs. Buggy lets us know that he's never been as weak as a bug and then fights us. He sends out his Same Sitar and we apply Kilogram to the wound. Same Sitar uses the energy is there to free the spirits, but Kilogram uses Bottom Boy and Same Sitar was Can. He has burns, but divorces some health using its Orange Berry Tree. Same Sitar tries to overcome his conditions using L and Fast Attack, but succumbs to some more Bottom Boys and its burns. Professor Bugsy is now down to just his Yuanzu and his cousin, neither of whom are able to do anything against Kilogram. Buggy congratulates us on being a Pokemon expert and we take the Buggy Hive, then he educates us about the strategic benefit of closing roads in order to be the first to buy things. On the way out of town, Telephone Boy, now known as Competitor Boy, confronts us about our violent tactics in dealing with Team Rocket. We apply the newly evolved polystyrene to the wound against Competitor Boy's I Spent It, giving it a stroke and taking it down with the translation. Competitor Boy sends out Crocodiles, and we repeat our previous strategy, but Crocodiles still manages to convey its terrible pain before he is dead. Jabat is finally sent out, and his satisfaction is lost twice before it succumbs to polystyrene's translations. Following the battle, we move on to Lecce Forest, also known as Hot Chicks, and track down the escaped removes, earning HM1, which allows us to use Assassinate on specific trees. Partway through the forest, we learn how to shake the wood of our minds, letting us use the above script to find and catch a forest skip Kunky. We make our way to Goldenrod City to reform the next fitness center led by good girl Whitney. According to her, everyone loves Pokemon Go, even us. She warns us that she's good and fights us. Professor Whitney sends out Clefairy while we apply Skip Kunky to the wound. Skip Kunky uses Brick Destroys Brick. What a great thing to have! And Clefairy is dead, so Professor Whitney sends out Same Milk, proclaiming her own weakness in the process. Same Milk uses Deer, encouraging Skip Kunky to let them love each other, but Skip Kunky doesn't fall in love, and he uses Brick Destroys Brick 2 more times despite Whitney's pleas, and Same Milk he is dead. Whitney lets out a human sneeze, and one of her gym trainers affirms that we made her cry. We go back to her and take her wallet, which we use to get the spray bottle from the neighboring flower shop and attack the strange trees. We catch the Sadwood and return to Goldenrod to talk to Account. He asks us to buy Dezatla and Abrahimovic, and we take it off his hands because he doesn't care, but we end up with buyer's remorse. We do the only thing we can and evolve Abrahimovic into a configure. We head to in Ecruteak City and meet Gym Manager Morty and Usain. Usain suspects the legendary Suichu is in the closet on the second floor, but will come out soon. Competitor Boy is also here and believes himself to be in a dream. He challenges us to a fight once more, wanting to claim the legendary Pokemon as the sworn traitor that he is. Skip Kunky kills all of his Pokemon, and we head downstairs to see how Suichune is doing in the closet. They're finally comfortable enough to come out, and Usain leaves to go cry, leaving us to take on the Ecruteak City Fitness Center. Our newly acquired Stick Go re-kills Morty's I Spent It and one of his The Hunters, and hits repeat with Against Ray. Repeat is worried too, but still uses Shadow Ball as Skip Kunky takes the field. Repeat is still worried, and by chance he gets hurt, leaving Skip Kunky an opportunity to kill him and the last hunter with his dark claws. Morty's defeat makes him extremely nihilistic, and we smoke Morty count, but Morty immediately tells us to stop smoking and kicks us out. We head to Olive City to visit the heavy Pokémon by the Lighthouse, and Jasmine asks us to head to Aoka City on her behalf, because she's trying to avoid spoilers. Configure drowns, and we head out across the ocean to make it to City. Yusin is also here, and explains that the true reason he's obsessed with the charming and beautiful Suicune is its ability to explore city roads quickly, and we make some noise. We win the battle against Yuzine, but he disagrees and heads off to chase his preferred method of transportation. While we're here, we stop into the fitness center and change the lake so we can fight Professor Chuck in the garden. We apply Skip Kunky to the wound, and he takes out Diagram thanks to his fast fingers. Polyurethane comes in and uses You Will Lose Your Body, giving Skip Kunky a stroke. We swap to Polystyrene, giving Polyurethane a stroke of its own, then use Lightning until Polyurethane is dead. Upon his defeat, Chuck gives us the Wind Badge and encourages us to kill first using targeted strikes. Before returning to Olive City's electric light, we stop by the Jianmu City Pharmacy, now celebrating 500 years of looking forward to your medical injuries. They give us the same medicine, which we probably could have gotten anywhere else. We give the medicine to the Amplifier, who immediately starts turning it up, and in hindsight, he was probably just suffering from a hangover. Heading to the fitness center, Aeneas thanks us for our help with the beacon, but this is different. She claims to use Clang and assures us that she's not lying, despite Clang not even existing in this game.
You a liar.
We apply Kilogram to the wound and take out her Magnetite with Gillam's Wheel, and Professor Jasmine sends out her Cancer. Gillam's Wheel proves to be an ineffective treatment, and Cancer retaliates with a Delivery in Stone. We swap to Configure, who gets hit with IBS before washing Cancer away. Melon Jasmine Mineral Badge, and she gives us IBS. The next order of business is to head to the Lake of Anger north of Red Tree, where the Red Festival for the hit show Anger in Red is taking place. There have unfortunately been too many noise complaints, so we're forced to confront the concert and shut the Red Festival down. Lance did not expect this outcome and dips out, so we follow him to the local Just a Gift shop and watch thrown items attack a pregnant man with his Dragonstone. We proceed through the gun control hideout's password-protected doors with the help of the British Murkrow, battle alongside Lance, and channel our inner rednecks by fighting the elections like it's January 2021. With that taken care of, we head into the Red Tree Fitness Center to wage hot war against the snow. Before the war begins, Money lets us know that Pokémon live multiple lives just like the rest of us, then orders his soldiers to fire. Skip Kunky is applied to the wound and takes out Stamp. Blood comes in and uses Sign of the Dawn, but still dies nonetheless. A Dark Pig is the last soldier to take the battlefield and uses I Walk, but is unable to stop the Master General that is Skip Kunky. Money warns us that we've lost our sight in our bloodlust and awards us with a new price, a thread that will generate amazing Pokémon stats, so long as we comment to unlock free upgrades. He also gives us his mixtape, which seems to be several diss tracks about ice. Before heading off to deal with Team Rocket's takeover of the Goldenrod Radio Museum, we check in on the 3 beasts that came out of the closet not too long ago. We track down and arrest Lai Kwong and That's, and pay another visit to Suicune, the brave and catchy, beautiful and fast car. We head back to Goldenrod dressed as Team Rocket to infiltrate the Radio Museum, but Competitor Boy blows our disguise and heads off to find Longthamar. We fight our way up to the director's room and defeat Petrol, evolving Kilogram into the same kind. We then head down to the Goldenrod basement, where we get stopped by Competitor Boy, who cries and then fights us. Competitor Boy sends out Stick Go while we apply Configure to the wound. Stick Go uses To Be, he said, and hits Configure with Against Ray. Configure is worried, but uses Surf to kill Stick Go, and Competitor Boy sends out Magnetite and the Hunter, both of whom die as well. Competitor Boy then sends out Predators, so we send in Lai Kwong. Lai Kwong gets hit with a couple of disclosures, but improves enough to kill Predators. Beedrilla is sent out, and Havre does a Joker impression, but it's not a good enough impression to prevent Lai Kwong from killing Beedrilla. After Competitor Boy loses, he begins to confront his feelings, but he shuts them down once again and steals his resolve to become the Pokémon trainer. We get the keycard from the manager in the basement, head back up the tower, and fight our way to Arrow to interfere with his mental plans. We apply Configure to the wound, washing away his Terrier, Black Doom, and In the Box, and Arrow vows to create Team Rocket here today, bidding us hello. With Team Rocket officially reformed, we continue onward through Snow Road towards the final fitness center. We catch a Swinub bug on the way through, and we evolve it into a dark pig. In the city of Blackton's fitness center, Jim's legs don't stop, so we have to put our Pokemon in the Pokeballs. Claire, the gym teacher, uses the common and popular dragon types and is the best monster guru in the world. We apply a dark pig to the wound because I forgot she leads with Festival and switch to Lai Kwong, who faces the wrath of Satan. Lai Kwong uses Improve and the Festival is dead. Flying is sent out, and Lai Kwong uses a thought to raise the team's instructions and had a stroke, so we swap back to a dark pig. He tanks Flying's Dragon Veins and retaliates with Icebox. Repeat is sent out, and we swap to Configure, whose water heater made Hydraulic Pump useless. Configure uses the Sand attacked them, and Repeat uses a Smoking Screen, decreasing the and truth of both sides. And after losing the Battle of Attrition, Skip Kunky comes in and takes a couple of Hydraulic Pumps, but retaliates with a Brick Destroys Brick and Wrestling. Love Robot comes in and takes on the last Flying, tanking and Disclosure of Color and making it worried with Against Ray. Claire tries to convince us that she won, but her ruse is unsuccessful, and Love Robot kills Flying with Sabito Fang. Despite this, Claire disagrees with our win and sends us to the place of the snake to take the dragon exam. After a lot of thought, we pass the test, and the Dragon Elder performs an exorcism on Claire, forcing her to give us her invisibility badge. On our way out, she also gives us some dragon wine as an apology. With our Sign of the Cross count at 8, we can finally assail City Council. But first, we head back through Route 45 to talk to Professor Elm once more. He gives us a football expert and informs us that there's only one group of girls in kimono who are as beautiful as us. Seeing this as a direct challenge, we head off to fight them in their dance theater. But before we do that, we return to Blackton with the beating of a heart to teach a dark pig ancient forces so that he can evolve into Mama Suyan. At the dance theater, Competitor Boy struggles to remember the kimono girls and is unable to defeat 5 spiders and heads off. The Kimono Girls use their Pokemon's property to send ants to those who show true skill. We're gifted the cancel ringtone for defeating them and head to the top of the Mother of the Bell. The girls in kimonos give us a clean record, and they recount the day that Hydroxyl came down from heaven to the Ark of the Covenant. They summon Hydroxyl with the empty gourds from the ancient days, and we catch the enthusiastic Hydroxyl with the football expert. With everything else taken care of, City Council awaits our assault. We travel through the way to success and get stopped by Competitor Boy at the end, who wants to smash us one last time. He loses again and leaves to hone his skills out of fear that we'll eat him. And at last, we arrive at the fabled City Council. We're ready to reform the physical education system in Johto alongside our faithful team, consisting of Lai Kwong, Mama Suyan, The Same Kind, Love Robot, Configure, and Skip Kunky. Good Guy's Will is our first opponent, and a very good Pokemon, but unfortunately he has a psychology degree. He sends out Confirm, and we apply Lai Kwong to the wound. Lai Kwong goes on a killing spree, taking out Confirm, Duongs, Applicant, Slowdown, and Confirm again. After the brutal defeat of his team, Will assures us that this defeat won't change his attitude and he'll continue to struggle, much like anyone else with a psychology degree. Good Guy Koga is our next opponent, and he gives us good advice. Live in the shadows, don't bully Pokemon, and send it to Georgetown. He sends out Ariados, and we apply Love Robot to the wound. Love Robot kills Ariados and Poisonous with He Flew, then reverses into Same Kind against Forester. Same Kind kills Forester with the Rug and does some decent damage to Supporting, but Supporting gives a brief overview to raise his cancel, avoiding the next attack and hitting Same Kind with Electricity. Mama Suyan comes in to tank the next Electricity and kills Supporting with Arthur. Koga sends in a Love Robot of his own, and Mama Suyan takes it down with some ice boxes. Good Guy's Koga loses despite his training, riding everything he could possibly ride, and he decides to go back and take some classes to hone his skills. Maybe he too will get a psychology degree. Good Guy's Bruno is up next, and he has just one question for us. Who is Rihanna? He senses no fear in response to this question and prepares us to bow down to an atheist. Bruno sends in his and we apply Love Robot to the wound once again. Dies to a he flew, and Bruno sends out Agatha. We reverse to skip Kunky, killing Agatha after she sets up a sandstorm. Bruno sends out to die and uses I Will Show, raising Skip Kunky's fight but making him worried, and by chance he got hurt. The Devil will play the role of Sandstorm, and we switch to Configure. He is also worried by I Will Show and gets taken out by Tadai's Let's Jump on the Wheel. Thankfully, this is not a Nuzlocke, or Monkey Key according to Google Translate, so he'll return in the next battle. Lai Kwang comes in to kill Tadai with a translation, and Trung Fa comes out. Lai Kwang gives him a stroke, but Trung Fa is still able to use Business. We swap to Love Robot to decrease Business's efficiency and hit Trung Fa with Against Ray. But despite being worried and having a stroke, Trung Fa is still able to use Rock to take Love Robot down. Same Kind comes in and finally takes down both Trung Fa and Hitmonchan with Rug. Bruno is far less composed in the face of defeat and tells us to go away forever as we move on to the final good guy, Karen. Karen of the four loves her Pokemon and knows the best attitude, avoiding IRS taxes. Karen sends out Canopy, and we apply Skip Kunky to the wound. Skip Kunky uses Brick Destroys Brick, but gets worried by Against Ray. Skip Kunky overcomes his worry enough to kill Canopy, and Karen sends out Supplement. We switch to Lai Kwang as Supplement uses You Must Delete It, and kill Supplement with a translation on the following turn. Karen sends out Black Doom, and we swap to Configure to tank the Rug. Black Doom uses the aptly named Bad Decision to raise its SP it prevents, and Configure hits her with Surf. Black Doom retaliates with Internal Motivation, but doesn't do enough to take Configure down, and dies. Karen sends out Vileplume, and we swap to Love Robot to take the killed Salad. Love Robot uses He Flew, and Vileplume is tired of being tired and dies on the next turn. Karen sends out Repeat and turns the corner. Love Robot uses Against Ray, then hits Repeat with He Flew. Karen lets us know that we're not the only coach to score goals and uses one He is completely healed. Love Robot reverses into Lai Kwang. Lai Kwang uses Shadow Ball, and Karen uses one more He is completely healed, while Lai Kwang does a bad job. In one final gambit, Repeat uses Compiled by Bethany to take Lai Kwang down with it. After her defeat, Karen discusses the two types of Pokemon, Weak Pokemon and Weak Pokemon. She encourages experienced trainers to try novice appendix removal and sell the organs. This brings us to our final opponent, Sample Lance. He sends out his Festival while we apply Lai Kwang to the wound, killing Festival with the translation. Lance's strongest Dragonstone comes out and provides protection, transforming the Devil Team into a mysterious creature. Lai Kwang gets hit without anger and uses a thought to raise the team's instructions before fainting. Mama Suyan comes in and uses Icebox, killing Dragonstone. Charizard comes in next and hits Mama Suyan with Air Italic, and Mama Suyan retaliates with Ancient Forces. Charizard uses Air Italic again, he said, and Mama Suyan swaps with Love Robot, who gets hit with fire-resistant glass, and our team is complete. Love Robot uses He Flew to kill Charizard, and Lance sends out airplanes to challenge our flying abilities. Love Robot reverses to Configure, and he washes the airplanes away. Dragonstone number 2 comes out, and Configure is hit with Dragon Race before he can use Ice Ray. Mama Suyan comes back in, hitting Dragonstone with an Icebox but doesn't get the one-shot, and gets hit with Dragon Race again. The Same Kind comes in and starts using I Wait to build up momentum but has a stroke. Things aren't looking great for us, so I try to leave, but I can't run away from my problems. Seeing as this isn't a Nuzlocke, we cheat and use our totally legitimately acquired Obtainy Maxes, sending Mama Suyan back in to finish off the Dragonstones. Lance is glad to have seen some real snow, and Maria and Dr. Oak show up with a dire warning that our love for our Pokemon will be our demise. Annoyed by the sudden noises, Lance leads us into the Hall of Fame, which is a tribute to Janet Jackson and her signature Pokemon. Finally, after all our efforts, we've taken over City Council and can use our newfound power to enact our physical education reforms. Our first decree is as follows: Hepatitis. Thanks for watching till the end. This took me way too long to do, so if you enjoyed it and want to see more stuff like this, please consider subscribing or even joining my new Patreon. If you want to play this version of Heartgold yourself, there will be a link to a patch in the description, although the current version only has the text changed up to where the video ends. I have all the text translated, but got a bit burnt out putting all the text back into a format the game can read, and will hopefully get around to finishing that soon. Thanks again for watching, and always remember, cheese is always worth it.